Dan RadioStyle, hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. How do we change things right now? Things are going crazy in our life. Something's going on. We don't like the fact that someone's not treating us properly. Maybe they're not texting you back. Maybe they're not being kind to you. Maybe your boss is being weird right now and you're hoping to get a promotion, so this isn't exactly the mojo you want going on. Maybe you got something going on with your job that's just not feeling right and you're getting a little nervous. How do we change things? How do we figure out a way to shift this? What seems to be going incorrectly, I frequently talk about, don't pay attention to what's going on in your reality. When it seems bad, you're reflecting out bad. Your projector's shooting out bad. Your projector's playing a horror movie right now, and you're like, I don't want to see a horror movie. All right, here's how you change the movie. Now, one thing we need to keep in mind, it is very important to keep in mind. Manifesting is very similar to like having a cold or a flu. I say this because I'm kind of getting over one myself. And a lot of us, we look at it when we're finally sick and we're, right now we're not feeling good, and everything's horrible. And we want to turn it around like that. We want to quickly turn it around. Problem is, it took me a moment to get here. It took me a little while to get to this place. I had to let myself get run down. I was pushing it too hard. I was doing a few too many things. I kind of did a couple other little side things that I shouldn't have done that really, I think, kind of pushed me over the edge. And so when you do that, when you run yourself down, when you let yourself get to a place where you're consciously, or your consciousness, as Goddard talks about, is not in tune with the life that you would like to lead, or your health for that matter, you open yourself up to be able to get sicknesses from people. It didn't happen overnight. It didn't happen in 1 second. It happened over a number of days of me allowing myself to get run down. And so in order to get out of the cold, if you will, you need to realize what's been happening, what I've been doing incorrectly. In my case, again, I was doing too much. I was trying too hard to kind of put energy in the wrong places that I really should be focusing over in another place. There's just a few things I got from it that I knew I was out of balance on. And so what I did is I changed that balance. I changed what was going on inside of me, the choices I was making, the things I was doing, where I give energy, where I know I need to take a break for myself. And I made the change. Once the change happens, I know a lot of us are like, well, then you should be instantly good. Well, yeah, but your body's at a place where it needs to kind of start to steer itself back towards healthy. There's a difference between healthy and sick for a reason. And the body takes a little while to get there, and it takes a little while to get out, typically, right? Sometimes it can be instant. I've talked about a video where I woke up the next day and felt amazing, and I did. Like 90% of the flu was gone, and I admitted there was still a little bit of residual, a little throat, a little sniffles, or something like that. But it was like I went from like being bedridden to like able to function, went back to work. Everything was great. So it takes you a second to get there. You've got to allow yourself a second to get out. You've got to realize that you've got to make the changes inside of yourself. And then those changes will manifest themselves within a day, within 2 days, within 3 days. You make the change now inside yourself, and you start to experience and express outwardly your projector. Your projector is now playing a better movie, no longer playing horror films. And so you start to experience the part in the horror movie where the love story happens, and then you transition out of the stupid horror movie altogether into, your favorite love story of all time. And it's beautiful when we make the transition. And it's part of that steering our thoughts, part of steering our consciousness, part of steering what it is that created this problem that we're trying to change. Now, in the case of our health, a lot of times, like I said, we get run down. Don't need to beat that horse to death. What about love? What's happening with love? In a lot of cases, our consciousness gets run down in the sense that maybe we believe we're not good enough. Maybe we were in a relationship and things happened, or maybe we were mean for that matter. I mean, that's always a possibility. Maybe you were told horrible things. You were always criticized for your weight. Maybe you're always criticized for that mole on your cheek. Maybe they didn't like your hair color, or it was too short, too long, too this, too that. And maybe we constantly looked at different magazines and said, she's so pretty. You think she's pretty? Like that's questions that us dudes hate. As like a question, there's no way to really survive. You either lie or Or, I mean, not that they don't look better or worse, but you're screwed either way you go. It's one of those wonderful places to be as a man. You're just like, I hate my life. Why did I just get this question? This is not fair. So a lot of us in the love sense start to create these weird places where we started making ripples. We started making waves. We started basically letting our love get run down. Instead of properly balancing it, properly loving and nurturing it, properly sending out love to get it back. Maybe we were too gripey, too complainy. Maybe we kept noticing all the bad things they were doing and not noticing the good things. And what you realize when you're trying to shift that consciousness is, wow, I really need to appreciate the good things, or I really need to appreciate this quality in them. Yeah, maybe they don't text me enough, but like sometimes they text me these beautiful poems, like their heart is totally pure with me. So sometimes maybe it's not exactly how we want it to be, but appreciating it for what it is can sometimes open us up to being in that loving place again, to where we're feeling better about love. And when that happens, much like health, you start steering your way out of it. You start feeling better about it. You start talking consciously about it better. Like, no, things are actually improving. He actually just sent me a text and said, sorry, I've been gone lately. And, I've just been busy, right? Like things start to steer back in the right direction. Now, maybe he's not going to text you back again, just to stay on this example a hair longer. Maybe he's going to go back to his old ways of not texting you. Don't freak out. Keep yourself going on the good path. He writes me beautiful poems sometimes. Give him the benefit of the doubt. He's busy. He's doing something. He'll text me when he can. I'm appreciative when I get a text from him. And you keep your consciousness in that good place. You don't go back to this, man, he's not texting me. That is such a different feeling and vibe and consciousness. That's what a lot of us do. They reverted back to the problem. No, you're challenging yourself to see if you've actually learned something. They behaved how they always have. Are you going to behave differently? And if you do, you keep your consciousness in that groovy place, and these things start to fade away. Essentially, I think, feels like anyway, seems like, once you prove it to yourself, once you realize, yeah, I've freaking learned this lesson. And then, boom, it's like you shed it off and you're lighter and feel better and you no longer have to deal with it. What a lot of us don't realize is it took us a second to get to where we're at. It took us a second to create this horror movie that we've been experiencing. It took us a second to have this breakup occur. It took time to get there. So when you're going the wrong direction in like a big boat, let's talk like an aircraft carrier. It's basically what some of these manifestations are, like a giant aircraft carrier. This is a boat that the flight deck's basically a 1/4 mile long. That's a long ass boat. It's a long ways. So when you take this boat and start to turn it, it takes a little effort to get it turned around. And so a lot of the cases when it comes to love is us acknowledging, what was I doing? Okay, well, I'm going to stop doing that. I'm going to stop getting grumpy about the fact, or I'm going to start painting that image differently. To use my example again, he may not text you back all the time, but is there something else that he does that's really awesome, that's uniquely so maybe? And so you're making a big deal about the thing you want it to show up as, but in reality, he's showing it to you in another way. When we can change the way we look at the problem that's in front of us, a lot of the times that makes it go away just because you're able to see it differently. You're like, oh, well, yeah, shoot, I didn't realize, or God, my boss has been busy, or ooh, I heard through the grapevine he's been going through a divorce. Maybe that's why he's been such a grumpy grump. Sometimes you'll get an answer. Sometimes you'll find there's other reasons. Sometimes you just got to make up a benefit of the doubt. But ultimately, you got to start turning that freaking wheel over and over. Right? Just start spinning the wheel to turn the damn aircraft carrier around. And you'll notice as you start turning it around, you'll start to realize, oh my God, I'm feeling a little better. Yeah, okay, wow, the stuff Dan's talking about, he's crazy, but it seems to be true. I want you to prove this to yourself. Don't believe me. But as you start to make these steps, as you start to realize, that wasn't the best side of me, I'm not going to do that anymore. As you start to realize, maybe I haven't been putting the best foot forward. Maybe I haven't been giving a lot of love and expecting a lot in return. when we start to change that consciousness. When we start to realize everything's a flow and it comes back. When we start to accept that this is just a contrast right now. And all it means is we need to appreciate that this is not what I want. Realize that what we've been doing lately is producing this and probably needs some looking at. Make some internal adjustments. Start turning the wheel. Start turning the wheel of your aircraft carrier. I assume it's a big giant wheel. I'm sure it's not anymore. Who knows, right? Start turning the big giant wheel and start steering your life back in the direction you'd like it to go. As you are changing this, you will start to realize that your tomorrows seem brighter and brighter. Now, it's not necessarily tomorrow. It could be 5 minutes from now in some cases. Some cases when we're angry, just calming the heck down is enough to turn things around. Instantly, that friend's like, yeah, you're right. Probably shouldn't have said that. When you were about ready to start going off on how them and their mother are something, right? And you're like, whoa, and you caught yourself. It didn't escalate further, and it had a chance to change. So sometimes it can happen instantly, but no matter what, if the change is large, oh, but this Dan is huge. You don't understand, there's history. All right, I got you. So tomorrow, things could be a lot better. And maybe the day after that, and maybe the day after that, and maybe the day after that. But you continue to change your consciousness. You continue to grow and learn from what it is that you've created. Do you like what you're creating? Do you not like what you're creating? If you like it, keep doing what you're doing because you're going to continue to create more of what you like. Keep being who you're being. If you notice how you keep being nice to a certain someone and this other person you've been really friendly to, maybe it's just the fact that you've got a lighter energy now. And just being nice to people is bringing out a good part of you that people seem to react to. Figure it out. And if there's things that aren't going well and you're being a grumpy Gus, or you're not giving out love, or you're not giving the back rubs, or you're not doing the extra work around the office and your boss feels like he's always having to pick up all the slack because they don't even change the paper in the copy machine, right? Like, I'm the boss. I shouldn't have to put paper in the freaking copy machine. I could see a boss getting pissed about something like that. Makes no sense in the big picture. I'd be giving him the same advice I'm giving you. But it's how these things play out. It's how life plays out. Start steering your ship. Realize it's all about you. It is. It's your inside consciousness is attracting and asking. This reflecting out the projector. The projector on the wall of your life that you look everywhere you look is the projector, your screen. You're seeing yourself pushed out. You're seeing examples of you. You're seeing examples of people playing the parts that you're asking of them. You think all people are horrible? Trust me, you're going to find a lot of people that are basically horrible that are happy to bump into you accidentally. They're just going to play the part for you. They might not even be horrible. They might just be having a bad day, but are happy to express it to someone that's asking for it. Ask for the good day. Consciously be the good day. Be the thing that's learning what you're changing. What are you not doing good? Where are you falling short? Where can you pick up the pace? Because everything I do or am today becomes my tomorrow. Dan, RadioStyle.